and I call the honourable member for Warringah.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. I rise to speak on the Treasury Laws Amendment 2020 Measures No. 6 Bill 2020. And this bill, amongst other things, amends the temporary full expensing and backing business investment provisions in the income tax law to provide greater flexibility for entities to access concessions. The temporary full expensing measures were a cornerstone of the budget in getting business investment going again, and very much welcome. They were the biggest single measure in the budget, worth an estimated $26.7 billion, and is focused on encouraging businesses to invest freely through full asset write-offs is a positive step to get the money flowing. The tax incentives for business are an opportunity for businesses to drive real change towards their net zero targets. The temporary full expensing measures enabled by this bill, combined with other measures such as the instant asset write-offs and the extension of the research and development tax incentive, allow businesses to invest in their green recovery. These incentives total an investment opportunity of nearly $30 billion, according to Treasury estimates. So businesses can invest in green energy through installing solar, batteries and smart meters. They can invest in their transport through electrifying their vehicle fleet to bring down their operating and maintenance costs, or installing electric vehicle chargers to attract more customers to their business. Reducing waste through investing in new and more precise technologies such as laser cutting tools or deploying in office paper recycling systems. These initiatives and many more like them will make so many businesses more competitive, and businesses have a time-limited opportunity now over the next 2 years to write them off. I recently participated in a webinar hosted by the Smart Energy Council to reinforce the value of the green recovery and how the incentives can be used to help local businesses improve their efficiency and reduce long-term costs. The webinar was also attended by the CEO of the Council of Small Business Organisations Australia and by local businesses in Warringah, such as Colourmaker, who are making the most of these opportunities and spreading the word about the value it has created for them. I encourage all businesses to look at the opportunities presented by these temporary full expensing measures. This legislation adds additional means for businesses to qualify for the temporary full expensing measure. So I urge the government to consider also making changes to the criteria for the cash flow boost payment that was rolled out to support small businesses through the pandemic. I've written to the Treasurer regarding this, in particular the issue of the eligibility for the cash flow boost. Many businesses in my electorate have written to me expressing their disappointment because they've been deemed ineligible for the cash flow boost due to the timing of their BAS lodgement forms. The two companies in particular that have written to me that fell through the cracks of the eligibility for the program because of complications with mergers and acquisitions causing a delay in the lodgement of their BAS. So I urge the Treasurer to consider the case of WOTSO, who operate flexible business office space, due to a demerger, were not considered eligible for the cash flow boost, despite meeting all other criteria. And similarly, Elite Woodham's relocation, for them, they were formed as a merger between Woodham's International and Elite Executive Services, so both of which had been in operation for over 20 years, with 13 staff between them. But their merger occurred on the 1st of March 2020. Hence, Elite Woodham's was not able to lodge on or before 12th of March 2020. And accordingly, the merger of EWR, which would be eligible for a maximum payment of $100,000 should an exception be granted from the 12 March 2020 lodgement date. So clearly these are just cases where the technicalities of timing are making very legitimate and businesses that would otherwise be eligible fall through the cracks. These businesses do require the support of the government to make it through the pandemic, and their operations have been severely curtailed by the government-imposed restrictions. So deeming businesses ineligible goes against the stated purpose of the measure, which was to support businesses through the pandemic by providing cash flow boosts. I urge the Treasurer to consider amending this eligibility criteria and extend that cash flow boost to these businesses. There are also some amendments in the bill to consumer data rights. Consumer data rights provide consumers, both individuals and businesses, with a right to effectively and efficiently access specified data in relation to them held by the business. The bill changes the administration of this right from the independent Australian Competition and Consumer Commission to bring the primary responsibility closer to the government in the Treasury Department. There's no explanation in the explanatory memorandum for why this change is being made. However, to change the governance of the data right rules framework after just a year of its operation deserves, I would say, more explanation than what is currently provided by the bill. So, in conclusion, I thank the government and I support these measures, but I do urge businesses to look closely at the opportunities that they present, in particular for a green recovery through the temporary full expensing measure. And I urge the government to review the eligibility of businesses for the cash flow boost to businesses, with a focus on those who have been through a merger or acquisition, and as such the timing provisions make them fall through the crack. And again, an explanation in respect to the logic of the transfer of responsibility for the CDR rules from the ACCC to the Treasury would be welcome. Thank you.